Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and set up some alarms. So the first thing we know is that we are going to have a value coming in, and that's going to be our temperature. And actually we need to reference our PLC program. So PLC program dot, and that's going to be our temperature. And we're going to need to look at that one time. Then we're also going to have to look at our level. So PLC program dot level, and we can go ahead and copy and paste that because we know we're going to need to look at that 2 different times. And we're going to need comparators. We're going to need to see if we're greater than or equal to. So let's go ahead and pull in some blocks, and this one is going to be GT. That's going to be greater than, and we'll need 2 of those, and then we'll also need a less than. Okay, look at that. Already we've got our logic starting to come together, and it looks great, doesn't it? Not really. So let's look at our temperature first of all, and we know that we're only worried about temperature being high, and temperature being low isn't going to be an issue. And then we're going to need to look at our level, and that's for either being less than something or greater than something. So now we need to actually look at our limits, and we've got those defined as variables as well. So those are also in our PLC program dot, and we have a high level limit. And let's go ahead and create another one of these. PLC program dot high temp limit. And last but not least, we're going to look at our PLC program. So PLC dot, and that's going to be our low level limit. Excellent. Now that we've got those, we're going to see if our level is less than our low limit. We're going to see also if our temperature is greater than our high, and then we're going to see if our level is higher than our high level. So now we've got all of our comparisons set up, and assuming that's true, then we want to energize some timers. So let's come over here, and we can wire that directly in there, but I think it would be better if we pulled that out a little bit and gave ourselves some room, because we're going to want to tag in between there. This is going to be a TON, and this will be temp underscore HH underscore delay. Sounds like a really good name. It's very expressive. It tells us exactly what we're doing. And I'm going to copy a couple of these out, paste them in here, and aside from temp high, we also need a level high delay. Got it. And then we're also going to need a level low. So level underscore LL delay, also a TON. And do I have these things organized right? I've got greater than high, lower than low. That looks about perfect. So now I'm just going to go ahead and space these out a little tiny bit just to make them a little bit better looking. That's good. Let's select all of this if it'll let me. Got it. And let's bring that up right about there. And it'd probably be easier to do the bottom one first. Let's bring that over there. And yeah, I think that's about even. Last but not least, let's get this one where we want it. Good. And I think we can go ahead and wire those in. So those conditions existing will be our inputs in. And there's actually one other thing we might put in there. We might want to reset alarm, but actually we're not going to use alarm reset in this program, are we? So we don't need a not, or we don't need an and not in there or something like that that's checking to reset the connection. We just need to leave it on until it's gone, and once it's gone, that'll reset the timer. So that should be fine. We need to now go ahead and put in our delays, and our alarms are going to have 10-second delays in this program. So that's pretty easy. That's going to be T-pound 10S, and certainly easy to copy and paste a couple of those. One more. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got our conditions and we've also got our times, now we need to put in our one-shots, which are actually going to set the alarms. So let's come up here and pull in another box. That's going to be an R_trig. Got it? And I'll just go ahead and give these simple names. So I'll just call that one shot, and I will copy that and create a couple more, and I'll just drag those in here right below. Good enough. And so this ONS is going to be ONS2. That's an R_trig. This one's going to be 3, also an R_trig. And let's just go ahead and copy everything and drag it up over here a little bit. And I'm going to condense some things down so I've got some more room to work. And if I'm doing that, that's because I've got more work to do. All right, I think that's pretty good. Let's try and drag all this over here a little bit. Don't you just love the way I can do that? That's pretty handy in this environment. I like being able to move things around and make large adjustments, gross adjustments really quickly. And let's wire these into these one-shots. Good. So once we've actually got that and we've one-shotted, what do we need to do then? Then we're going to actually set our alarms. And we don't have a set coil command in here, but that's okay. We're going to do that on another platform. But one thing we need to do differently with these alarms, we want them to trigger after a 10-second delay. We also want them to release on a 10-second delay. So I'm going to copy all of this, paste, come down here and drop these in right below. And then we also need to create some releases for these alarms. So if our temperature is lower than or less than that value, then we need to come into our temp HH_release delay, which is going to be a timer, 10 seconds, and then we're going to have another one shot, and I see I'm going to run out of space on these. So let's go ahead and try to select all of those and just drag everything out a little bit to give ourselves a little bit more room to work. Should be good. And we'll go ahead and call this 4. We'll call this one 5. We will call this one 6. And let's go ahead and just do these names as well while we're here. So that's going to be a release delay. This one is also going to be a release delay. And then we just need to switch our conditions over here. So instead of greater than, less than, and instead of less than, greater than. So what's going to happen is that these are going to go ahead and reset all of our alarms. And actually for the releases, I don't even think we want those to be on one-shots. So now we just need to create some tags that we can actually send into the PLC program, our main file, and is going to do the work there. So we'll let those alarms actually be controlled in that routine. Let's go back into here and let's create a little bit more useful logic in this routine. So we're going to say level_HH_release, and that'll be a bool. And then we'll also have level HH trigger, and it probably makes more sense just thinking about it mentally to put those on the other side, right? So yeah, I'll go ahead and do it like that. Copy and paste this, and actually I just need one more. So then let's go ahead and copy and paste this because I have 2 more alarms. And let's drop those in just like that. So now, aside from level high high, we also have level low low, and I did not mean to hit that. We've got level low low trigger, that's going to be a bool. And then we're also going to have level low low release. That's a bool. Let's close that gap. And then we're going to have temp high high release and temp high high trigger. There's one, and got it. Whoops, I think I just created something I didn't need, so let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got those, what are we going to do with them? Well, now we need to put some conditions on those. So let's go ahead and say if this trigger, then, and we'll go ahead and put an end if down here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste some of that, and let's just go ahead and type ifs before some of these. Kind of a sloppy way of programming, I know, but it's going to get us done a little bit quicker. I can just hide all of that because I don't need to see that many variables at once. And there we go. So now you can see kind of where I was going with that. Now we're actually turning this into some of that halfway useful code I was telling you about. And let's get everything spaced appropriately. And it looks like, there we go. Does everything at least look halfway good? I think it does at this point. Okay, so what do we need to do in here? Well, here we're just going to take our alarms and we're going to put them in the states that they need to go. So let's come down here, and I think we already created our alarms, didn't we? And nope, we have not created our alarms yet. So what are those alarms going to be? We're going to have HH underscore LVL underscore ALM, bool. We're going to have low low underscore level underscore ALM, bool. And then we're going to have HH underscore temp underscore ALM, bool. Okay, so now we've got our 3 alarms. And now we can come back up here and just set those accordingly. So if we trigger that, then we're going to have our HH underscore LVL underscore ALM colon equals 1 semicolon. So there we go. That's really all we have to do for each one of these. So we've got our high level. And then what if we reset? Well, then we're just going to set that thing equal to 0. And then we are going to have a low trigger. So let's go ahead and swap that out for an LL. And we will energize it here, come down, and we will release it here. Same thing, we've got our high temp. So we'll come down, energize it here, and make sure that that's actually a temp alarm. And copy that. Drop right down here, and that's going to be our release. So we'll set that equal to 0. And let's give this a look. Trigger temp 1, release temp 0. We've got an extra space in there we don't need. We've got our level low trigger is 1, level low release is 0, level high trigger 1, and level high release is 0. Alright, so now that we've got those, we can go ahead and I'm going to copy this tag out here and go back into our alarms. And where's our level high high? We've got that right here. And now we can go ahead and energize those tags. So let's just drop this in, and let's see, that's actually got to be in our PLC underscore PRG dot. And there we go. Now we're energizing that right where we want it. And let's come up here and we'll do the same thing. So this is actually going to be our temp high high. So PLC program dot, and that's going to be our temp, and this is our high high trigger. Got it? And we're just wrapping up with this. Let's put one more here. PLC program dot, and that's going to be our level low low. So let's come down here, and that's going to be our low low trigger. And we've got a couple more, but I'm just going to cheat, copy these out and paste them. So where's our high high release? That's right here. And then we've got our level high high, and that's going to come right down here, level high high. And then we've got our low low level. Copy and paste and bring that right down here. Then these three just need to be renamed to release. So there we go. Let's copy the word release, come down here, paste it in, come down here and paste it in. So there we go. Now we have our alarms being controlled from this CFC, and back in our main program we're actually going to be doing the energizing and de-energizing of those bits because we want to control those there anyway. So now we've got some alarm logic. We can, that's probably going to work, we'll find out. We can go ahead now and come back into our mode control, go back into our startup, and when we come back we will get in here and we will start working with going into our alarm mode. So take a break and I'll see you in the next.